Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Malamed Shlita. We are getting closer and closer to Tisha B'Av, and the next chapter that we'll learn is Ketzad Mavdilim Motzaei Shabbat Shu Tisha B'Av. So this is particularly important for this year, since Tisha B'Av falls on Saturday night and Sunday. So what do we do regarding Havdalah? Kivan sheyatsa haShabbos hechel hatzom v'yefshar lahavdilah halayayin. So as soon as Shabbos ends, the fast begins, and therefore one would not be allowed to make Havdalah using wine. Lefichach Havdalah alakos nidches ad la'achar siyum tzom Tisha B'Av. Therefore, Havdalah on a kos, on a cup of wine, is postponed. It's pushed off until after the fast is over, which will be Sunday night. Aval. However, one still has to make a verbal Havdalah. So for those who are davening Marav, we say Atachon Antanu in Shmona Esrei. And then afterwards one will be allowed to perform Malacha. V'yesh omrim sheto shenashim yispalo arvis Motzaei Shabbat zu kadesh yavdilu ba'atachon Antanu. Some say that it's good for women, even if they don't normally daven Marav on this Motzaei Shabbos, they should daven Mariv. They should make Havdalah in davening by saying Atachon Antanu. Or you could use the other method of verbally ending Shabbos by saying the formula of Baruch Hamavda Meikor Shlachol. The reason for this is that perhaps sometimes women don't end Shabbos until they actually hear Havdalah at home. And since that won't be taking place this week, so they have to verbally end Shabbos. Not only that, but on Motzaei Shabbos we have to make the bracha on the candle, because making the bracha on fire on Saturday night is not dependent on the cup of wine. It's a Saturday night thing, because fire was revealed to mankind on Motzaei Shabbos, on Saturday night of creation. And the custom is to make the bracha on Eish after Marav before reading of Eicha, so we'll do that here in Shul. So then we'll light the candles. Women should also make the bracha on the ner, on the candle, or have someone make it on their behalf. Someone who did not make the bracha on the candle at night can do so all night long. Because the time for making the bracha on the candle is the entire Motzaei Shabbos. When the fast ends on Sunday night, before we eat and drink, so we have to make first Havdalah on the cup, and we make two blessings, ala gefen v'hamavdil. We make the bracha of Borei Pri HaGefen and then Hamavda Meikor Shlachol, etc. Avol ein mevarchen al habesamim ve'al haner. We don't make the bracha on spices or on the candle. Kan hamakom laharchib leva'er ki b'chol Motzaei Shabbos limrosh shekvar yotzu hakochavim tiknu chachamim shel lasos malacha ad sheyomer nusach mesuyim shel Havdalah kagon al yidei amiras atachon antanu v'shelo lechol ad sheyomer es Havdalah ala kos. So he just says, parenthetically speaking, it would be appropriate to mention here that every single Motzaei Shabbos, as soon as Shabbos ends time-wise in terms of Yotzei Kochavim, the emergence of 3 stars, Chazal instituted that one should not perform malacha until you say the proper formula of Havdalah, whether you say Atachon Antanu or Baruch HaMavdil, and also one shouldn't eat until you say Havdalah over a cup of wine. Lefichach, b'Motzaei Shabbos zu efshar listapek b'Havdalah shebedibur she'al yada mutar lasos malacha. V'Motzaei Tisha B'Av she'atzrichim lachol yesh lasos Havdalah alakos. And therefore, on this Motzaei Shabbos, so we can suffice with just saying the Havdalah verbally, which allows us to do malacha, and then when Tisha B'Av is over, when the fast day is over, when we need to eat, therefore we have to make the Havdalah on wine first. Lefichach chol shetzorach lechol b'Tisha B'Av tzorach lahavdil ala kos lefnei sheyochal. So it's interesting that if someone is required to eat on Tisha B'Av, let's say someone who is ill or someone who's not required to fast, then they have to make sure that they make Havdalah first on a cup of wine, or if you're using grape juice or orange juice, whatever it might be, Chamar Medina. V'nachon lahavdil al mashke medina. He says it's better that we should not use grape juice or wine. We should rather use chamar medina. It could be beer. It could be orange juice. I won't recommend using beer on a fast day. Vim ein lo mashke medina yavdal al mitzanavim. And if you don't have chamar medina, then you can use grape juice. Ubediyevet kishein lo mitzanavim yavdal al yain v'yishtem lo lugmav. And if you don't have grape juice, he says, bediyevet, worst case scenario, you can use wine and only drink a cheekful, which he says is about 40 milligrams. And if you have a youngster who is old enough to understand brachos but is not old enough to fast, better that the youngster should drink from the Havdalah cup rather than the person who is ill. However, a minor who is not fasting is not required to make Havdalah beforehand, because think about it, who's going to make Havdalah for him? And if he's not old enough to fast, he's probably not old enough to make Havdalah for himself. So again, this covers the unique situation that we have this week, which is Havdalah to end Shabbos. So we have the verbal Havdalah followed by the Havdalah ala kos after the fast on Sunday night. So it's kind of an unusual occurrence where we're making Havdalah and it's not Saturday night, it's Sunday night. But again, this is just part of the special occurrence that we have this year because Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbos. So again, as we get closer and closer, and just a reminder that the conclusion of this week will be on a little bit of a hiatus, and the podcast Shiurim will resume, God willing, at the end of the summer as we get ready for Rosh Hashanah and Yom HaKippurim. So I want to thank everyone for listening today and for all the feedback that I get. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. We'll have 2 more sessions, and then we will get into Tisha B'Av. Everybody should have a wonderful day.